In-series is basically a type of electrical circuit, kind of like those old Christmas lights where one of the bulbs would be burnt out, the whole strand would go out, even though all the bulbs worked. And I kind of felt like that was somewhat, it's like a metaphor for my life while living over on the west side of LA, because everything could potentially work, but there was always one thing that wasn't happening. So it would cause this whole daisy chain effect. Anytime you have a loved one that goes through something, painful, such as Kari having to deal with the cancer thing, you have to, I felt like I had to be super positive, and I wanted to be there for her, and as tough as it was at times, I needed to stay strong, and I really wanted to break down a lot, but I couldn't, and it was really sad seeing her, on those days where she was having a bad day and she was just having a really hard time, as much as it hurt me, I just needed to be strong, and I couldn't really ever tell her that, that I was scared, I was completely scared, I was like, no, everything's going to be okay. But we didn't know. It's completely uncertain. I think to help deal with these emotions that I was having during that time, I ended up composing. And I composed a lot of those tunes because of that. So it was, kind of like a confession, I guess, where I wanted to make something positive out of the situation. It was like therapy, I was writing something, and I felt like not only did it was something that I'm not necessarily the most articulate person, but through music I can say a lot more, and I think by writing this it was kind of like it made me feel better about the situation, and it also was a gift to Kari. I recorded this album just a couple weeks before leaving here, and I'm just happy, it's kind of like I could just, put an end of, into that chapter of my life. So Kari's completely cancer-free now, which is absolutely wonderful. It was a huge weight lifted off of us. And that experience, along with all the other stuff that happened while living over here, really made a lasting impression on me. I grew up a lot over here. A lot of life happened, and that definitely is reflected in my music, and is definitely present on In-Series. I started to kind of reevaluate how I looked at the world, and looked at myself as a professional, and looked at myself as a person, and the ability to see the bigger picture rather than focus on the small things that aren't so important.